Hello! Welcome to
Hi.
another episode of the Manifest Actual Play live stream. Um, Before we get started with any recaps or anything like that, Addie, do we have any announcements for the viewers?
We had a little bit of a snafu with emailing from BackerKit. Um, I emailed every single pre-order backer on BackerKit personally with an invite to the Discord. So we did delay the first section of Rusty's collection of stories. I will be posting those later tonight after the stream in the Discord after people have hopefully actually gotten the invite. Um, um, so that is the first thing. The second thing is pre-orders are still open and will remain open for Manifest the RPG, the game that we are playing, until the stay-at-home orders are generally lifted and we are able to actually produce out. The third announcement is that next week we are doing another giveaway, which I think is really cool. So we have some amazing art from of some of the critters on Manifest from the lovely artist Crystal Sully, who you can find. Ooh, that was gross. At Crystal Sully on Twitter. She is amazing, and she is deigned to draw some cool stuff for us. So we will be giving that packet away.
I think we're
You
worth
will
it. You don't have
have
to say dang. You
she
paid her
is.
with
She
money.
is. She's the mother. She's the mother of dragons. Mother of monsters.
Yeah.
Mother of Monsters, I think. So it's royalty. You gotta. So we are giving away a packet of really cool art that she has generously donated to this stream. You have to be watching the stream in order to get the code word. In order to that's that. So we will be doing that tomorrow, next week, not tomorrow. That would be crazy. And we'll be doing that next week. And we will post on all the social medias to remind you so you don't miss it.
Yeah. You do have to follow. So right now, if you haven't already, press that follow button up there. That way the chat will work for you when the code word comes out next week.
And I think that's it. I think those are all the announcements. The only other announcement is follow and subscribe. If you like us and you want to support the stream, we are really excited. We've got some cool things planned, and your support helps us get there quicker. So if you can, also if you have Amazon Prime, you get complimentary, I don't know, included Twitch Prime channel subscription, and so you can use that and support us for free. And by free, I mean you kind of already paid Amazon for it. So you can do that if you like. Otherwise, I think we are ready to go.
All right. So Kinsey, Pax, and Roland have been in the Badlands for a little bit. Oh, we got a video cycle. All right. Kinsey,
Sorry.
Pax, and Roland have been in the Badlands for a little bit. They've been on the trail of a missing nomad pack known as the Riveteers. They found this nomad pack had been driven into the mountains by a rival pack known as the Cloud Cutters. Upon meeting the leader of the Riveteers, these three drifters realized that the leader, known as Tusk, was in fact Kinsey's estranged mother. So he hasn't seen her since he was just a couple years old. He got dropped off at a homestead in the garden and thought she was dead, but turns out she's alive. She just almost died a long time ago. But they joined the Riveteers in a glorious ride against the against the Cloud Cutters down Split Boot Canyon, and it didn't go very well for the Riveteers. Their vehicles were decimated. Kinsey's mother, Tusk, lost one of her cybernetic limbs and sort of almost lost a real limb. There was a bone sticking out of it, but Roland did some work to make that a little better. Then the remaining Riveteers began to defect to the Cloud Cutters, and Tusk wanted none of this. And these three drifters, Kinsey, Pax, and Roland, have been hired by the town of Soldina to restore the Riveteers back to their route because the Cloud Cutters run way too high of a price for the town to sustain its way of life. So these three drifters have infiltrated the Cloud Cutter camp. Roland and Kinsey arrived as Riveteer. Roland arrived in under the guise of a Riveteer named Jack, with Kinsey as himself. Brought Kinsey to the leader of this branch of the Cloud Cutters, known as Ferdinand Koenig, who turned out to be Kinsey's estranged father. Ferdinand welcomed Kinsey with open arms and established him as his heir apparent, despite the fact that his other child, Redwheel, his daughter, Kinsey's half-sister, has been with the Cloud Cutters for who knows how long.
10 years, she told us.
Yeah, 10 years.
We know how long.
Turns out. She kind of got the shaft a little bit. So Kinsey tried to talk to her and say, hey, maybe you should maybe overthrow our dad. And then she thought it was a test because Ferdinand may just be a little abusive to her. And so she drove Kinsey away, drawing her gun on him and threatening to kill him if he came back. So Kinsey went off into the wilds in the middle of the night. Meanwhile, Roland managed to join Redwheel's roadkin, basically the crew that rides in her illustrious vehicle, the Bullwhip. Pax established herself as sort of kind of third in command in the Cloud Cutter camp, the leader of the grunts, as she intimidated all of them en masse, and now has a few sycophant followers. Additionally, Pax did break out the scavenger known as Kira and set her up in a little housing pod to start working on some traps. She did that because she figured Redwheel had learned that she was working with Kinsey. And she was right, because as soon as she left Kira, she was approached by one of Redwheel's roadkin and escorted to Redwheel's housing pod. She was brought into that housing pod, and the door closed ominously behind her.
Sorry.
So, we will begin the session with Kinsey. Kinsey! You've been wandering around in the Badlands. It's the middle of the night.
Right.
What are you doing? How you feeling? You've just kind of been banished by your half-sister.
I had hoped that would have gone better, but it's fine. I am nothing if not resilient, so I think. I don't know. When was did we go right after dinner? That's when we kind of met up.
Yeah, it was middle of the night. I think it was somewhere between 8 and 10-ish. It was the nighttime. It was solidly nighttime, but not early morning nighttime.
So I think it's the middle of the night. I'm going to get just a little distance between myself and the camp, and I'm just going to kind of. I think what I might do, I don't know how it will go in the middle of the night. I've still got some hours left. I'm going to see if I can track down that that I was hunting earlier before we got to the if that's all right.
The mysterious beast that you had a slight trail of before the ride down Split Boot Canyon.
That's one, yes.
But the only way for you to find it was to stay up all night and go into the fight exhausted.
Which, wouldn't have gone... It probably would have gone even worse than it did.
Sure. So let's go ahead and we'll have you roll survival.
Sure.
I'll put it at like a... Actually, you know what? It'll be opposed.
All right. Ooh. Hold on one moment, please. I'm going to spend 2 grits, and I'm going to play
into the gallery.
Okay. So I've got a high of 4.
High of 14?
Yes.
My high is 11.
All right, so that's 1 net hit then.
Okay, so with 1 net success, you do eventually, you kind of wander for a bit, thoughts rattling around in your head about, what you may have said to your sister to change her mind, maybe some worries about Pax and Roland. And then you decide to, to cope with that anxiousness you have inside you by, doing what you do best. You turn to the wild, you start tracking. And it doesn't take you too long as you kind of move your way back towards the area where you were tracking it before to pick up on its trail a little bit. Again, it's a strange trail. It's hard to identify exactly what kind of beast it is. None of the prints are extremely clean, and part of that, it hasn't rained here in a while. It's very dry, dusty, flat, packed like dirt on stone. So there's not a lot for you to go off of, but you do see some of the similar signs of passage that you had seen before. So you begin tracking that, and it's going to take you a while, but you think that you're on the right track, and if you stick to it, you should be able to get it before sunrise.
Can I tell how cold this trail is?
Not entirely. It definitely doesn't feel extremely fresh, but that's part of the thing about this. Something about the way this creature moves. It seems like it's almost a creature that is smart enough to try and tread on areas where it leaves little track. But right. So you begin tracking it with what little signs of passage you can find, and you're very confident that you will find it before sunrise, but you're not 100% sure when.
Sure.
Meanwhile, back in camp, Pax, the door closes behind you, and you find yourself standing in a housing pod with Redwheel and all of her roadkin, including the newly anointed Jack, who you recognize as Roland. One of the roadkin is waiting outside. It's Grease. He led you here. He's waiting outside. He wished you luck when you went in. And you walk in, and all of them are kind of standing there. You do realize they are all armed, and they are all kind of surrounding you as you walk in. One kind of slides over by the door you just came in and leans against it as you step in a couple paces. And right there in the middle of all of them is Redwheel. Her filtration mask removed. She looks at you dead in the eye, and she goes, "Pax, right?"
Yes.
Right. I suppose you ought to know that Kinsey's not going to be in camp any longer. He headed out minutes ago.
Okay.
She narrows her eyes a little bit and goes, so what I'm wondering is, who exactly is Kinsey to you? I know you're working together. As soon as he mentioned it, I realized I'd seen your face before. Down in Split Boot Canyon. You're the gal that took out that gyrocopter. I thought I ran you over.
Looks like you missed.
But anyways, you have some explaining to do. You come in here, a riveteer, dressed in cloud cutter gear. And you just kind of slide your way in and pretend like you're part of the gang.
Well, first of all, I'm not a riveteer. Never was.
Well, you was riding with him, and Kinsey rides with him, so I believe that makes you a riveteer.
I admire your ability to make the world so black and white.
Do enlighten me then.
Why?
Well, because otherwise we have a problem. I'm not comfortable with you just making a home here in the Cloud Cutter camp, an ally to Kinsey Koenig, recently exiled and not to return. Think there might be some ill will between us, and I'd like to stamp that out right here and now, make sure that you will fall right in line.
You're just the best at making assumptions. If what you said is true, and you didn't kill him, and he just left, he left without me. Does that sound like an ally?
Sounds like you're.
Does that sound like a friend?
I am.
Does it seem like Kinsey and I get along super well? Or does it seem like he needed to see his daddy and drifters have different skill sets? And maybe he's the outdoorsman. And so he knows by leaving that I'm here amidst, I guess, his enemies. What makes you think in that black and white brain of yours that Kinsey and I are on good terms?
Can't help but notice you answered my question with a question instead of answering my question, which is, who is he to you, and are you going to be a problem? Because it sure as shit feels like it now.
While this conversation is going on, I would like to be reading the room. I want to know, as best I can, what the power dynamics and hierarchies are of the various members of this crew are.
Sure. Roll discipline at or I guess for you can roll blend, since you're playing the player, at a -5.
Okay.
I guess that depends on you.
It's not a very good roll, but it's about as good as I can do with a -5. My high is a 6.
Okay. How many successes?
2 hits.
Okay. You get decent-ish read during this exchange. Nothing too deep. No like inner secrets.
Yeah.
No furtive glances where you realize there's like a super weak link. But you get a general read on them, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Cool.
She responds to you, Pax, with, "How do you figure?"
Well, I'm stuck here. So you can choose to have me as an ally or not. You can choose to make me a problem or not. And like, yeah, you could take care of this problem, but not without losing significant resources. How do you think I got here?
Well, they said they found someone who they thought hadn't been part of the fight dead, and I assume that might have been your handiwork. Pax, my intention here is to find out what exactly you and Kinsey were playing at coming in here and cozying up to Ferdinand. I suggest you change your mood to the talkative type, the cooperative type. And if you do, then we can work together just great.
I don't think that there's anything I could say to make you feel comfortable. Because, well, as far as I can tell, having been in the position myself at one point, that you are cornered and you are scared and you have been told that you are nothing, and you now, after years and years, believe it. And so you're never going to believe anything I say, no matter how much I say what it is you want me to say or what I don't. I didn't cozy up to Ferdinand. Why would I do that? Like, he's your family, so I'm not going to speak bad about him, but I have nothing good to say about him. I came in when I thought my friend was dead. And I positioned myself in a way that I wouldn't be tossed off a cliff if somebody didn't like me. Kinsey showed up. Great, he's alive. I was ecstatic. And then he left, or you killed him. He allowed himself to be killed. Either way, I'm here. He's not. If you want me to be a problem, let's do it.
Go ahead and roll.
It doesn't matter. I won't succeed.
Which is better, intimidate or manipulate?
I mean, I roll more dice at intimidate, but they have the same target.
So intimidate then is the better one. You can roll intimidate. I will give you a +3.
Okay.
It was such a good speech. I mean, how could you not?
I have a 7. Nope. Oh yeah, I can count that 7.
Okay. Oh. All right. This reroll will determine whether or not you win because you're the aggressor, or if I win. No, it rolled almost the same number. So I do have a 7. The other 2 successes I rolled are really low. But the 7 is all that matters. So what is that? 1 net success?
Yeah.
Okay. You say all that, and like all of the road can kind of like bristle, and like they like reach for their weapons, like, you know, their hands go down. And Roland, this is when you start to kind of see the like the power dynamic as each of them kind of visually checks with each other, like, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? It's very easy to tell that Grease is kind of Red Wheel's right-hand man.
I don't think... Oh, yeah, because that's obvious.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
I was going to say, he's not in the room.
No, that's obvious. It's that one you don't even need to roll to understand. He's the one she
Because I'm awake.
Yeah. It looks like Livewire and Slipstream rank above Kelly and Duncan. And it seems likely that that Livewire is the like kind of next in line after Grease. So like, because basically you see Slipstream glance to Livewire, and Livewire reaches for her weapon, so Slipstream reaches to her weapon, and you watch Kelly and Duncan watching both of them and being like, oh, and they start going, they're like, everyone's kind of like, what's going to happen? They're all kind of reaching for their weapons, but you also notice that Red Wheel doesn't reach for her weapon at all.
Yeah, I think in this interaction, as I'm watching them, you tell me if I'm skilled enough to do this. I'm like keeping an eye on everyone, but I want anyone of them who is like looking at me to see that I am paying attention to Red Wheel, and I am also not reaching for my gun.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I mean, you roll blend, so like that fits pretty well in with blend. Your successes can also net you that. Yeah, there's a couple times where they glance to you, and you see Kelly, like as Kelly's kind of scanning and reaching for her weapon, she looks over and sees you standing there staring at Red Wheel, and then her focus shifts to Red Wheel, and like she's like uncertain. Her hand kind of lingers halfway between like her weapon and like, you know, calm, as she's like, wait. She's like getting mixed signals. She doesn't know. she doesn't know exactly like who she should be following now, because she sees. I was like, wait, yeah, but Red Wheel, right? He might be right. And Red Wheel, the one other thing you get, Roland, is that while Red Wheel kind of sits there nice and calm, you do like notice her tense up as Pax begins to like kind of say, I think you're scared and you've been told you're nothing. And she like, her like teeth like clench at that, and like her like muscles become a little taut, but she tries to put on a very like, you know, strong face, where as if what Pax is saying is nothing to her. And then she cracks a slight smile at you, Pax, and she goes, all right. I can see Kinsey takes after his father, has a way of pushing people away. I only have one more question for you, Pax. Seems like we're going to get along just fine. Seems like you understand the way of things in this camp. And I like the way you can whip the grunts into shape. I can use that. You're good at what you do. And I surely don't want to tango with you after what I saw you do to that gyrocopter. Surviving going under the bullwhip, sneaking into camp, you're very capable. Now, some might say you made some enemies in this camp, and that's a secret I'm happy to keep. No one who was friends of those in the gyrocopter needs to know who you are and what you've done. But there were 3 of you in that car. Kinsey wasn't driving. Hell, you jumped away from the car. There's one more in there, and as much as I like all the excitement tonight, I really am out of the mood for surprises, so why don't you tell me what happened to your driver after I tipped his car over?
You all were there. I told you that was me. I set the sky on fire.
She blinks and looks over, and then Livewire goes, right. He did say that. He told Grease that. And Red Wheel goes, None of you thought to tell me that the new member of the Roadkin is just...
Yeah, I pulled Kinsey's ass out of the... Listen, I ain't been a Riveteer long, but that plan that we had to go up against your gang down a trench was dumb as hell, all right? And I said that. I said that to everyone, and no one believed me. And now you blew up my last gig, and I'm not interested in that happening again. So I picked the winning side. I've been upfront about everything.
Red Wheel nods and goes, Grease! Door slides open. Yeah, and he like eyes you up and down, Pax sees that you don't like, just like kind of like soaks you in for a second. He goes, well then. And she goes, yeah, it did. Make sure that next time you initiate someone into the road, can bring them to me. You know, you make sure I get the whole story. And he's like, yes, of course. And she goes, so you're the driver then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You seem very handy. What with the sky trick. Not super great behind the wheel. That's good to know.
Listen, I'm passable, all right? I'm not going to pretend I'm even in your league, but I know my way around a wheel. And Kinsey does not know where the clutch is, so somebody had to drive his ass around.
She raises her eyebrows and goes, Pax, does that mean you have issue handling a vehicle as well?
I can drive in a straight line very fast.
Well,
but I'm not usually I'm the offensive and defensive protective system.
Well then, I suggest you find some of those grunts you've whipped into shape to put you in the back of their vehicles, toting you around. That way you can excel. Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation, and I do appreciate your candor, Pax. You go ahead and keep doing what you're doing, and you know your place, and then you and we won't have any trouble at all.
All right. I would say one thing before I go. Cool. And that is, honestly, you should be a little bit more certain about your place.
This is the thing about drifters, she says, looking to Roland and looking at you, and she goes, Kinsey was talking a big game earlier tonight as well. You think you can just walk in here and read a situation and know exactly how the pieces should fall? You don't know me. You don't know this crew. You don't know the Cloud Cutters. You're new here, and you need to remember that. Ferdinand may not be the strongest behind the wheel, sure. But he is our leader, and he is untouchable. Best you keep that in mind.
Is it because of his protective detail or because he has something over you? And I will walk out.
I mean, you turned Grease's there.
I'll attempt to walk out in a cool manner, and they can try to stop me.
Grease is there. He doesn't immediately step out of your way. You kind of like square up against him, and he looks at you, and you look at him, and you can see that he knows how that will go. And then, but in that moment of you not being able to completely leave, she just goes, "So you met them? Well, take it as a kindness that you got to see their faces and live. I suggest you steer clear, fall in line, and you'll find plenty of success here in the cloud cutters. And then she nods to Grease, who steps out of the way, and you're able to walk out, Pax.
Cool. I guess I'll go be middle management.
She turns back to all of her crew, turns to you, Roland, and goes, so then, you've been traveling with Kinsey for some time then?
A bit. I met him. He was coming out of the garden. I was, in between jobs. So we met up, found his mom. Seemed like a good gig. Like, I'm handy. I can drive. Nomad Pack seems like kind of a natural fit. And, I was ready to stop drifting, but then, you were there. You blew it up. So.
Tell me, Jack, how come you didn't tell me you were just drifting along with Pax and Kinsey until just now, until you had to? You seem like a clever fella. Seems like you'd know that was something I'd be interested in being privy to.
Well, I saw Pax go under the bullwhip, and then I literally walked into camp with Kinsey. I brought him into camp with Kinsey.
Right. I get that. And what, you just were oblivious to Pax's new position amongst the camp?
I mean, I haven't known Pax that long. Pax was with Kinsey a lot longer than me, and she stuck to the shadows and seemed to keep an eye out for him. I've had maybe 4 conversations with him. So, yeah, when I walked in concussed as hell, it might have slipped my mind. You were there. You ran me over.
Go ahead and roll manipulate.
Am I dressed to impress in this scenario? I mean, I'm wearing her gear.
Yeah.
I gotta be, right?
Yeah. You look the part.
Cool.
She's got a 9.
I have 3 net hits over a 9. My high's a 14.
All right. She goes, all right, Jack. One forgetful moment of the mind I can understand.
Listen, I've tried to be as upfront as possible. I understand this is a delicate situation I've walked into. Won't happen again, I promise.
All right. Good. Go get yourself something to eat, something to drink. If you need to lie with someone, don't do it here. And when you're done for the night, that bunk's yours.
Sounds great.
And she walks off. They all kind of look at each other and nod. And then they're like, we're going to get something to eat. You want to come?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And they all leave Red Wheel in the housing pod alone. Meanwhile, Kinsey. Been tracking all night. It's getting late. You still have a handful of hours till sunrise. You're still going. And then you see what is very clearly like a fresh track. Looks like whatever this animal was, it like stopped in some like shrubs and relieved itself there, and it is still wet. So
is it still warm?
Not incredibly.
Right.
But it hasn't like evaporated.
Okay.
So it's kind of like gotten back to the temperature of the evening, but you're definitely, you know that you're close because you're not following like a day-old track or anything like that. So you keep making progress, and you're still not 100% sure what it is. It's large, you know that. Large enough to be a mount, judging by the breadth of like the, it will have like a slight, like it will brush some like, stone to the left and then brush some stone to the right. So it's big enough to be a mount, maybe a horse, maybe an ache, hard to say, something around that size. Could even be a warrican, but you think that it wouldn't be a warrican because warrican don't tend to be in this kind of mountainous terrain.
Sure.
So you're not 100% sure. Or at least this high up in mountainous terrain. And you're getting very close, and we'll cut back to you in a minute. Pax, what are you doing after you left Redwood?
So I'm gonna head into camp.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure everything's like going the way that it should be. And then
Oh, did you freeze?
no, and then I want to yeah. I want to go into Koenig's tent at some point.
Okay.
But I don't really want to incur the wrath of the shoot, what are their names? I wrote it down.
The Ophidian clan.
The Ophidian clan. Yeah. As wrath. But also I might be able to sneak past them. I'm not really sure. So yeah.
Well, do you attempt to sneak into Koenig's tent at some
Well,
point?
I want to do it when he's not there. So like if he's like out glad handing or something, I want to like watch his place for a hot minute to see if he's around, and then when he's not around is when I want to.
His position is pretty knowable. You don't need to roll to know when he's in his tent and when he's not.
Sure. Yeah. So when he heads out, I want to head in, hopefully through the like rear or side of the building.
It's harder because they're more like housing pods instead of tents, right? So they're kind of like hard built, not like necessarily fabric.
Is there not like a window though?
There is like kind of a little sun. Like there's a part on the top that is like a fogged like glass. You could try and break in through there if you don't want to come in through the door.
I mean, is there only the one door?
Yes.
Nah, all right. Then the front door it is. I guess I'll wait until it's. Yeah, I'll see what happens.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a sneak check.
Okay. So I do have Silent Step and Lightfoot.
Yeah, Lightfoot will allow you to move more swiftly. It makes this a much more feasible plan because you don't have to like creep your way to the door. But Silent Step is for not being heard. It gives them some penalties.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting you know what's
I'm
going
letting
on.
the audience know.
All right, fine. You tell them then. Okay. Oh, I hate that. All right.
All right, you are up against a 12.
Ha! Suckers. Cool. I have a 15 and 2 net hits.
Okay, so you wait for a little bit. You make your rounds around the camp. Everyone's like, boss, boss, boss. As you walk by, you like kind of sit down. Some of your, you have some food with everyone else. Everyone's like kind of chowing down. And you see there's a point where Ferdinand walks over to like the edge of a cliff and is like looking out over the horizon at the,
everything the light touches.
Yeah, staring off into the endless expanse of the Badlands, and In that moment, you realize everyone's kind of in their own thing, so you just kind of leave your food, stand up, and slide your way into some shadows, and then you kind of wait for a minute. No one seems to notice you're missing. He's still there, and then like very swiftly you make your way to his door, slide it open, and then slide it back and close nice and silently, and you're inside his tent, and it doesn't. No one has stopped you so far.
Okay. I'd like to look around and see if there are any appropriate hiding spots. Like,
go ahead and roll.
Like, is
observe, I suppose.
Like, there's like a kitchen cabinet or something. I don't know. Just in case. I want to have a spot I can run to as if someone opens this door.
You're looking for you. You're not trying to like clear all the hiding spots, is what you're saying. Oh,
no,
sure.
no.
You don't need to roll an observe test for there.
No. Okay, great.
No. There's enough stuff around in here that like there's like the big like table with the map of the Badlands on it, like this area, like you could hide under that. His bed has, you know, curtains around it and like and probably room underneath it. There is like a wardrobe that like you could potentially jump into. There's also a chest that if you cramped up real tight and emptied the chest, you could probably fit inside there too.
Right. But inside that chest is where I want to actually go.
Sure. So you are able to open up the chest. It's full of clothes, but Kinsey did tell you there's a lockbox in there, so you dig around and you do find that lockbox.
I'd like to open it, please.
Okay, it is locked. So you will have to
Sure.
skullduggery.
Okay. Great.
At a -5.
Sure. And then I have a standard auto picker.
Sure. That'll give you a reliability.
Okay.
And make it take less time.
That's nice. I also have sticky fingers, which it's just for pickpocketing. Yeah, okay. I'm not a thief. You're a thief. Just kidding. I'm a thief.
Every lock is fundamentally a door and a thing to keep you from opening that door.
All right.
My greatest thiefly wisdom I can offer.
I have 4 hits.
Yeah. So very cleanly, you get the lockbox. You kind of look at it. It's pretty heavy, actually. And then you pull out your auto picker, switch it around, and just kind of put it in and like click it a couple times, twist a knob, click it a couple times, and the lock pops right open. You pocket your auto picker and you open.
Check for traps.
The lockbox, and then gas pours out. No,
Dang it! I said I checked for traps.
You found one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Actually, that triggers one of my.
Oh, it triggers an.
No, if there wasn't.
No,
if there wasn't a trap.
Yeah.
All right. So, inside this lockbox, you find a couple pouches, which you kind of hold up and weigh, and you think there's somewhere between 30 to 50 spurs in there.
I don't care about that. Next.
And then you also find a leather kind of, not quite a case and not quite a pouch. I guess folder, like a leather folder is the best way to put it. With like a leather, like kind of like tinsel like tied to keep it shut. And you find a letter as well, like a sealed letter, and it just says Red Wheel on it.
Okay. So it's like a folio, basically?
Yeah. Think of a manila folder, but made out of leather. It feels like it has some documents in it.
All right. I am going to take the letter and the like folio, the like folder.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So you take those and you put the spurs back in.
I don't want the spurs.
Close it. Lock it back up. Put it back inside the chest. It feels like it didn't lose much weight. A little bit with the documents missing, but not a ton. Most of the weight was in the spurs. And you set it back inside the chest, put the clothes back over it about how you remember them being, close it down. Anything else you're doing?
Yeah, I do want to read these documents. I guess the letter will have to wait because I want to close it back up the way that it goes. And that will take someone handier than I. So yeah, I'd like to open before I like lock it back up.
Sure.
I would like to like read at least the folder.
Sure. So you spin around that little like leather tassel, open it up, you pull out a couple pages, and a quick glance tells you that these are a bunch of copies of LRC correspondence between Ferdinand and a couple other people. Most of the correspondence seems to be between Ferdinand and Rockford. But a couple other like copies of LRC messages that you don't necessarily recognize the recipient of. But yeah, it's maybe like a month or two's worth of LRC correspondence, just kind of like
Is it just like movements and stuff, or like?
Yeah, if you
instructions?
want to try and like read your way through it for anything actually important, it will take you some time to like find stuff that is pertinent to what you're looking for. But you could roll an observe test to do it. Put it at a -2.
Okay, well, fine. Yeah, sir. We got 3 hits.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's like, it's not like there's like troop movements or anything like that. It's a lot of coordination between Rockford and Ferdinand. Basically Ferdinand keeping Rockford appraised. You can't get a whole lot from it, but it does seem like they are working together, so it's not like the attack on the Riveteers was like a secret from Rockford or anything like that. It seems like Rockford is aware of what Ferdinand is doing. You kind of get the sense that Ferdinand, in certain instances, it seems like Ferdinand's language kind of implies that he is kind of pushing, not pushing Rockford, but kind of like pushing his point to convince Rockford of certain things. But you're just glancing through really quickly. It seems like you might get a decent sense of like Rockford's personality if you were to take the time to like read through these things.
That's not my job.
But yeah. Yeah, nothing that like screams like this is extremely important at this exact moment right now, right? No like smoking gun or anything like that.
Okay, then I will leave the folder where it is.
Okay, so you wrap it back up, put it in the lockbox with the spurs, then lock it back up and put it away. So all you have is the letter to Red Wheel.
Yeah. Man. Of course Kinsey just led me wrong again. Is there like a hunk of luminescence or like anything that would make the Ophidians think that this guy is magic, or like a thing that like, is there like a cog to the bullwhip that doesn't let it go more than 10 miles away, or like
yeah, so you've already rolled an observe test. You can continue to like kind of search around for something beyond that lockbox. Go ahead and roll another sneak test for me though.
Okay.
And I am going to spend some grit.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 grit to bamboozle you too.
Okay.
So you are at a -2.
But I get 2 grit.
You do get 2 grit.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Well, this could go terribly wrong.
You are up against an 11.
Oh. Okay, great. I have an 11.
Okay.
But I also rolled a 14, and I could just spend the grit to count the second hit. And then it would explode, and I could get a third hit. Yeah, okay, I'll spend the 2 grit to count this 14, and then I will roll another die.
Okay.
That die did nothing.
So you have a
Okay, so I
14?
have 2 net hits. Yeah, I have an 11 and a 14.
Okay.
Unless I'm not the aggressor, and then I just have a 14.
You're not the aggressor.
I still win.
You still win. Yeah, so you're rummaging around, you're looking for things, you're trying to find some other like kind of thing you could use against Ferdinand. And you're moving as quietly as you can, and then you hear some movement outside. As if someone is about to open the door. And so you dive into one of your various hiding spots.
Yeah.
Where do you want to hide?
So I wanted to ask about this table. Does it have like a lip where I could like
Oh, you want to Spider-Man like yourself under the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You see that, you dive under the table and then like do like a jumping push-up to like push yourself up and like fly up off the ground, and then poof, you just put your hands and legs off to the side and hold yourself under this big wooden table.
Fucking much.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It may require an athletics test to hold for a long time, but yeah.
We'll see how long I'm here.
That's great. And so the door slides open. And you're there, and you're able to kind of lower your head and just see, like, just the heels of some handmade leather slippers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Slipper boots.
Does this guy have Uggs?
No, what I'm saying is they don't have very thick soles.
Got it, okay.
They walk in, look around for a minute, and then move in a little bit more. And then you watch as they take a knee, and they look under the bed. And you see it's one of the Ophidian clan members, the one you had spoken to before, who seemed to recognize Sky's name. Glances under the bed, stands up, looks around a little bit more, taps on the wardrobe to kind of listen how hollow it is, stops, and then you just hear like a slight like sigh, and then he walks out. And as he's walking out, he kind of stops, and you see Ferdinand's shoes walking in. And he goes, "Techt! What, is something amiss?" "No, nothing. I thought I heard something." Obviously being paranoid. "Ah, well, can never be too careful." "Of course. About your business, then?" "Yes." And he walks out. And then Ferdinand is alone in the room with you.
Okay.
I need you to roll an athletics test.
Yeah.
We'll start it at a -2 to encompass a relatively long period of time.
That is 4 hits.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. Ferdinand is walking around. You see as he seems to change into some kind of more comfortable sleepwear out of his wardrobe, and then he sits down at the table where you are, and you hear him eating something out of a bowl, and you're just kind of hanging there, and he's hanging out, and he seems to, you can hear like pages turning of a book. Roland, you're hanging out with the roadkin. Are you just kind of playing nice? Or are you up to anything?
I can be doing both.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm bonding with the roadkin. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't blindly follow whatever they do, but like I want to be clear that I am my own person and not just like another lemming in their group. But I do like respect their customs, like partake in them, and like joke and talk and laugh and make friends like a sociable person can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it could be blend or manipulate. Blend will make you fit in better. Manipulate will make you stand out more, but also possibly still be equally, if not more, welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll manipulate.
Okay.
I'm not actually here to make friends, so I didn't come here to make friends. I refuse to be kicked off this island. Again. Am I still dressed to impress?
Yes.
Okay.
You're one of them. The clothes say so.
Yeah, but you always gotta ask.
What's your highest?
Right now it is a 9.
Okay. That's fine. I won't spend grit. I have an 8.
What is my grit for, if not making people like me and do what I want? So I will spend 2 grit to play to the gallery.
Okay.
And count my 15, which then explodes.
Nice.
I have 4 net hits.
Nice. Yeah, so you find all the, like, Grease is a tough guy, but also kind of compassionate for like his fellow roadkin. He even you're not 100% sure, but you think he might have a crush on Pax. There's a couple points where he says like a couple things where he's like, yeah, with that new boss, I'm glad Red Wheel didn't kill her, right? Like that kind of thing. And Livewire is kind of to her name. She's a little eccentric, a little crazy. You can tell she's kind of a tinkerer. She keeps things put together. Slipstream seems to be the backup driver for Red Wheel. She gives you a little bit of shit, like as if she thought like for a second that Red Wheel was considering having you be her backup driver, but then she realized you were the driver of the truck, and she's like, yeah, you know, whenever Red Wheel needs to take a shot, I'm at the ready to take over. You know, if she needs to jump out there and do her thing. And then Duncan and Kelly are just basically guns. Are happy to be part of the crew. They don't try to make a name for themselves. They're just there to shoot guns and make sure that they continue to be on top. They're just good happy to be nominated. Guns. Yeah, you assume that they're very good at shooting the guns to be with Red Bull's crew. They're definitely more mercenary than the others. They're definitely not as talkative as the others, and definitely not as bright as the others. They're just kind of the gruntiest of the Red Wheel crew. But you kind of like establish yourself as like kind of the big picture guy. You start like piecing, doing what you do already, like kind of like pointing out like ways that things connect and all this other stuff, and then like they're like, oh, I didn't even think about it that way. and so like you do a decent job of like making all of them realize like you're the brains under Red Wheel. And the only thing you do get is that like Grease alone is the one who is a little like, all right, calm it down every time you start to
I'm definitely not trying to push it too much. Like I don't suggest like, okay, see, these are the 3 things we could do to be in charge of this whole clan. It's more like, hey, I noticed some of your hover things on the bullwhip they're not firing on all cylinders, so to speak, or things like that,
Yeah. So you start like giving everyone tips and everything, and everyone realizes you're kind of like an all-arounder, big picture, and then only every once in a while, and you like, it's nothing too big, but like every once in a while, Grease kind of like says a thing that's kind of dismissive of a good idea you had, and you start realizing he's kind of there protecting Red Wheel as like let's all remember who our boss is type thing.
For sure.
The other bits you get just through random conversation and little like side comments and things you can kind of intuit is that no one in Red Wheel's crew likes Ferdinand. And you're pretty sure Red Wheel doesn't like Ferdinand either, but it's complicated. She like is extremely loyal to him, but also hates him. Is kind of the impression you're given. You also can tell that you already know Red Wheel is illuminated, but you know that she. Oh no! What have I done? Oh, okay. I accidentally added a page break in my notes. You can tell that she, some of the powers you're able to glean that she has is night vision. She can see in the dark. And she can, they tell a story about at one point when she finally came up against somebody who like was kind of good against her and like was able to like avoid being rammed, and she got so fed up that she blinded him with her mind. And then killed him. So those are a couple other things you get just by like chatting with them and like listening to them talk about being part of Red Wheel's crew and all that. Sure. Definitely make friends with all of them. Even Grease, who was a little like, all right, calm down, right? Like he even like very much like respect. He's like, you're good though, right? Like is the
I make sure to defer to him every time like that comes up. I'm like, nah, you know what? You're right. That wouldn't work.
Yeah. So yeah, you get in nice and good with the crew there. They all seem very happy that you're part of the team now.
Great.
Yeah, and so we'll cut to Kinsey. Kinsey, the night carries on. It is just a couple hours till sunrise. You're feeling pretty tired. In fact, I would like you to roll I'd let you roll either survival or endure to resist some fatigue damage.
Goody, I like that. Yes, I'm certainly going to be rolling. So, that I'll do these. That's 2 hits.
Okay, so you take 2 hit point damage. The terrain is extremely rough. It's really slow going as you have to continuously double back and find this thing. But you're very like laser focused on finding it. Oh, what's up?
I'm sorry. Is this a fatigue test?
Yes.
In which case, it's actually 3 hits. My
so
apologies, I forgot. I have the talent Survivalist, which allows me to get an auto hit.
Yeah, so you're fine. No damage for you. As what you do is like you're able to kind of you find the spots where you can stop. You are able to like seek out little like small streams and creeks that you can like drink a little water from, little springs in the mountainside. So you can keep yourself refreshed. You also manage to like hunt a little bit of like smaller game to keep yourself fed, but like you're mostly like trying to not like slow yourself down, and you're not like starting any fires or anything either. But you're
I'm engaging in what we in the company refer to as trap therapy. We get your mind completely set on one thing, hunt majestic creature, and all of everything else just kind of melts away until you're in a better state of mind to think about.
Sure. And you come around a bend, and you see movement. You're nearby a creek that you just gotten some water from, and you're following that creek up, and then you see some movement around the bend, like a large animal moving out of sight, just out of sight, possibly to drink from the stream.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take out my rifle and load it with net shot. I've got medium net.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you quietly pull out your rifle, slot in some net shot, and then what do you do?
I'm going to, as much as possible, keep concealing myself. Am I in an area with... Is it just complete flatness, or are there some trees, bushes, anything?
There's a lot of this terrain that this animal seems to take is rough terrain.
Right.
It's like jagged rocks, steep slopes, that kind of thing. So there's plenty of things for you to move alongside and continue hiding yourself.
In what cardinal direction does the sun rise from on Manifest?
East.
It rises in the east?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So if I can I arrange myself to be from the east of this?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Any further movement as I do so?
So you want to try and get like more a line of sight on it? You kind of move around to the east side of it and then start creeping your way forward?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a sneak test for me.
Okay. I don't know about that.
unless you have Wilderness Stalker, which would let you roll survival.
I do not have Wilderness Stalker, which I certainly should get that after this, perhaps. Now, so I do have -1 to my sneak because of the armor I am wearing, unfortunately. But I am rolling 4 dice, so there's that. Okay, here we are.
You are up against a 10.
Okay. Well, I have no net hits.
What's your highest?
Highest is a 9.
Okay, that eliminates some of my successes.
It makes a difference, yes.
Yeah, it makes it so it only gets 1 net success over you. So you move your way up, and as you creep over like a little cliff edge over the stream, some rocks tumble down, and you like freeze and flinch, and the form of this creature perks up. And the clouds part and the moonlight shines down, and you see a jackalope. A large jackalope. It's rare to find jackalopes in the garden. It's not
right.
It's not completely uncommon, and if you
in
are
the Badlands, right?
Yeah, in the Badlands. Yeah, sorry. It's rare to find jackalopes in the Badlands, just because of the larger, more predatory animals that live around here. But it's not uncommon necessarily. If you're gonna find them in the Badlands, it is relatively common to find them in the mountainous types terrain, because they can use their ability to like jump up to higher ledges to their advantage against predators, similar to the tactics that the garden-based jackalopes use when they go into forests. But this jackalope is strange. It's unique looking. Its coloration is unique. It has it's kind of two-toned. It has sleek, dark, almost black chocolate brown fur covering most of its body. And its underbelly, inner ear, and some of the fur around its eyes is a warm reddish brown color. It has long, like, sharp horns, but 2 of the points on its left antler are broken off. This is a coloration that you've not seen in a jackalope before.
All right.
Most garden jackalopes, they tend to be kind of like a muddled, like gray, brownish type color. In the wastes, you might get some that are a little darker colored, some like kind of bluish gray almost. And then in the Badlands, it's a lot of like kind of like blonde or light brown, that kind of thing. This coloration on this jackalope is very unique and new to you. And it perks up and its large ears shoot up high and start moving around as it tries to like listen for something that it heard, presumably you.
Right. Now, I'm going to stop moving immediately and hope that it doesn't look in my direction.
Okay. It's going to sit there for a second, looking around, and then it's going to stand up on all 4 legs. It's kind of got like an arched back, and it's looking. You can hear kind of like as it's looking around. And then after a minute, if you don't do anything, it's going to bolt.
I'd like to take a shot before it bolts. Aiming at the thick part of its hind legs, trying to do minimal damage with my net.
Yeah. Well, so your net shot won't do damage. It will just grapple. Go ahead and take the shot.
All right, it's my medium.
It did not roll very well. You're up against an 8.
Right, well, that is 1 net hit.
Okay, so you do manage to hit it with in a rating 1 grapple. As it leaps forward and your net shot kind of wraps around one of its legs, kind of tangling it up. It doesn't manage to get the whole backside. It kind of tangles it up and weighs it back on one side. And it kind of like stumbles and it, like its eyes like lock onto you, and it continues to try to run away. But it's having a lot more trouble now that it's kind of like netted up, and like it takes like a couple more hops, and like the like net like flops around with it, and then it like pulls back and starts like going to like gnaw and nibble at the rope.
Can I take another shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Shockingly, you're only up against a 6.
All right. That's still 2 net hits then.
Cool. So as it's like going and like trying to like gnaw at the rope that's like wrapped around one of its hind legs, you shoot another shot and it kind of gets in the antler and like weighs the head down. And now it's pretty decently grappled as it kind of struggles against the 2 nets.
But I'd love to close the distance between me and it, and hopefully avoiding getting hurt. I'd like to kind of grapple it myself and try and calm it.
Sure. That sounds like a wrangle test to me.
Sure.
It is going to try, you're going to roll wrangle. It's going to oppose, and then depending on how you roll, it may try to hit you with its horns.
Oh dear. Okay. I hope it doesn't. Am I recalling knowledge about an aspect of nature trying to wrangle this? Just like the behavior of...
No. Also, that talent only works on survival tests.
That's fair enough. It is. It does.
Right. You are up against an 11.
Right, I have no net hits.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a defense test for me.
All right. Am I dodging?
Yeah, I mean, it's a melee attack, so if you want to try and block or something, you could too, but I'm assuming athletics or gymnastics is better for you.
And certainly going to use gymnastics here.
You are up against a 10.
Oh, yes! Alright, that's one net hit.
Okay, so you skid down the slope of this thing, you rush towards it, hands outstretched. It thrashes against the rope. One of the sharp horns flies at you, and you barely manage to, like, get out of the way. It whips around. But then it immediately, like, in that thrash, it then moves its head down and rips some of the rope off of itself and, like, stands up. And then, like, kind of, like, thumps its back leg at you as it starts, like, kind of circling around with you. And you're not sure if it's going to bolt or keep fighting, but you can attempt to calm it down again if you'd like.
I would love to do so, yes.
It's going to be a wrangle test.
Perfect. Come on now.
Oh, man. You're only up against a 6.
All right. And I am the aggressor, yes?
Yes.
That is 3 net hit.
Ooh. So it like thumps a little bit and like pulls back. It still has like that little like bit of net around its back leg, and it's like as you like approach and you have both hands out. You've like slung your rifle back around your back, and then it like it moves its horns towards you again, and you just kind of like step back, but it's kind of like a warning. It's not like trying to necessarily hit you.
Sure.
And then it like steps back a little bit, and then like glances. You can see its eye like glance towards the thing on its leg, and then it like kind of like hops back and like gets its horn against the rope on its leg and like rips it off. And then in that moment, it's trying to rip that off, and then it's gonna bolt and like get out of there. It's gonna leap up onto that cliff edge you just slid down and like disappear again for the night. But like in that moment, you rush up to it. So when it raises its head, it sees you there and like snaps at you, and you like kind of pull back and like get your hand on the horn.
Yeah.
And then like you pull its head to the side, and its head is pulled to the side, and its legs kick up in this massive force that like brings you up off your legs for a second, as it kind of like leaps up to try and like shake you loose, but you hold on tight and you land back down, and it like is continuing to try and like, you know, thrash and get you around. You get your other hand on the other horn, and now you've got its head under control, and you're like kind of moving it down towards the ground, and its legs, its massive like strong back hind legs, kick up again, but it can only like kind of bounce around in front of you, like lifting you up on its forehead, and then you use that momentum to get on its back. And then in that moment, you kind of grab onto the horns while like sitting on its back, on its shoulders, and as you're trying to position yourself, it leaps up onto that cliff edge and it starts bolting. And you're flying through the night holding on the back of this thing, barely hanging on, as it like bounces around and like it leaps up against walls. You realize like even in this moment of panic, you watch as it avoids areas where it's going to leave a long trail. Like it doesn't go into like scree slopes, it doesn't go into like matted like loose like sand or gravel or anything. It stays to hard surfaces. And this thing is insanely agile as it like bounces off of walls, barely even like walking on the normal like pathways. It's like leaping up and leaping down, and you get yourself on it, and it runs around and like tries to buck you off, and you're basically holding on as it bounces up and leaps around all over, and you kind of swing off on one side for a second, then pull yourself back in, all the while hanging on to the horns. And then eventually it starts to like tire out a little bit, and you're like holding on, you're like patting it the whole time, you're like whoa 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 whoa, you're like trying to give like a lot of like calming noses, you're petting it and everything, and then like it eventually like kicks a little bit and like bounces like, thrashes and kicks the hole while you're just holding onto it, and you're like scratching it behind the ear and like down around like the like its like thick neck and like strong shoulders, and like it kicks a few more times, and then you are able to kind of settle yourself down a little bit on its like actual back instead of just on its like head and neck, and then you still hold on, and it like thrashes a little bit more. You pet it a little bit more, and then it's like.
It's all right, darling. It's all right. Come on. Aren't we friends?
Its like ears twitch a little bit, and then you reach in and pull out some food and reach around towards its like massive mouth, and it's like, and like you feel as its muscles tense a little bit. It's like,
not bad. I made it myself.
And it kind of like sits there and seems to like settle with the fact that you're sitting on its back.
There you are, dear. Come on. But what do you say? You can keep hopping around for a little while. Why don't we try going in this direction, eh? I kind of give it just a light nudge with my knee on the right.
Yeah, and it like bounces a little bit and then like starts moving on like that way, and like does a couple more bucks as it tries to get a little used to you on the back. And you feel
all right.
You feed it a little bit more, and then it like chews on that, and then like the next time you give it a little direction, it resists a little bit more, and you feed it a little bit more, and over the next couple minutes this thing seems to be relatively okay with you riding on its back. And yeah, you can add to your inventory on your transport section a jackalope.
Fuck this motorcycle, I've got a jackalope.
It seats 2 people.
Okay.
Its body is 5, its instinct is 9.
Right.
Its speed track is a -2, -1, a 0, and a +1.
What?
And then its handling track is all positive. And it goes 4, 3, 2, 2. Slowest speed gives it the highest handling of +4.
Goodness, he's got some kick to him, doesn't he?
Yep. It has a few other characteristics, but I'll leave those a mystery for now. As you get to know it.
Interesting.
You just met this jackalope. You don't know its whole life story.
Yeah, and so we'll have 20 hit points, and it has 2 armor and 2 toughness.
Beautiful thing. The 20. I'm sorry. One more time.
Its hit points are 20. Its hit points are 20, and it has 2 armor and 2 toughness.
All right. Thank you.
We'll cut to Pax. Pax, roll another athletics test for me. This time at a -4.
Three hits.
Okay. You're feeling the burn, for sure. But you're able to kind of like, every once in a while, like adjust your grip slightly underneath this table as Ferdinand finishes his food, reads his book for a little bit longer, closes it, and then goes over, messes around in a desk for a second, and then lets out like a pretty big yawn, and then a sigh, and then he goes and blows out a couple lanterns, and you hear him crawl into his bed.
Okay.
Do you want to move now, or do you want to wait until you're sure he's asleep?
No, I'm gonna wait until I hear some snoring or something.
Cool. Roll another athletics test for me at a -6.
This is a sturdy table, huh?
It is. It's a very large. It's a war table.
How did he fly this up this cliff?
That's a good question.
Did he build his pod around this table?
3 hits again.
Okay. You're continuing to hold your position, and eventually you hear his breath like kind of like settle And not quite a snore, but kind of a rasping, like breathe in and then a breathe out. And then the same kind of rasping breathe in. And you're like, okay. And then you slowly drop a knee to the ground. And then release your arms from the burning, like, hold that you've been holding for maybe like an hour and a half. And then you stand up, very stiff, and let's roll one more sneak test for you.
Okay.
You're up against an 11.
Okay. I have 3 net hits. 14 high.
Okay. So you stand up, bones and muscles stiff and sore. You look over, Ferdinand is asleep. Do you leave?
I stab him! No, just kidding. I don't do that. That'd be great.
You could.
I could. That seems to mess with other people's plans.
Not really.
I'm not gonna stab him. I want to. Well, I don't actually want to. I don't like killing people. I'm just good at it.
Addie wants to stab him.
Yeah. No, I will not. Is that bowl clean that he used?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't do that. That's also not a me. That no, I just leave. I sneak out.
So yeah, he's asleep. You step out, slide the door open, slide it shut, and then the camp is pretty quiet at this point. So you make like you kind of move off to the side and then rejoin, and just as like Roland and the rest of the Red Wheels crew are like kind of standing up, getting ready, and Grease says to you, Roland, he's like, hey, be ready for a big day tomorrow. We gotta deal with the fallout of tonight.
Sure thing.
It's only a matter of time before Ferdinand realizes his golden boy is missing. And, well, we'll just have to see how he takes that. Just be ready. Follow Red Wheel's lead.
Got it.
Alright. Rest up. You did good today. And they kind of like scatter off. A couple of them go talk to some other people. A couple of them go back to the housing pod. Pax, you're able to reintegrate to the remaining people who are like drinking and talking and like getting ready to go turn in for the evening.
Okay. Don't stay up too late. We're up bright and early.
Is that to Jack or is that just to random people?
Just to random people.
Yes, boss.
And then I'll head over to my pod.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You do?
Okay. Yeah.
And Roland, do you do anything else this evening, or you go rest up?
Nah, I just head back to the pod and rest up.
Okay. Go ahead.
What's the like living situation like in that housing pod? Does like Red Wheel have, I assume, her own room that's like sealed off, but it's attached to sort of like the main sleeping / common area?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Is Red Wheel like, is her door closed and she's not in sight when we all come back?
Correct. Yeah, she's kind of taken to solitude this evening.
Okay.
And everyone else kind of like moseys in at their own pace and then like kicks off their boots and falls asleep.
Not something. Yeah, just go to bed.
Pax, you return to your housing pod. Your grunts are already sleeping and snoring.
They didn't find it was weird that there was like a prisoner in there?
Kira's not there.
Shit. Alright. A fucking bitch. Alright. Is there a note? Did she leave me a note?
Always leave a note.
You go to your bunk and look around. There's no note, but as you are kind of looking around, the like back door to your housing pod has like a crack, and you hear.
Oh, okay, I'll go back there.
And you go back there, and she's like, "It's all right. I mean, I heard someone coming in the door. I freaked out. I brought everything out here, and I've been sitting here for a little while waiting, hoping you'd come back."
You okay?
Yeah. I figured you said people were coming for you, and you weren't here, and I thought they was the people coming for you, and I didn't want to, so I figured you gave me the key, so I just came back here, and then they just fell asleep, so I guess they weren't the people coming for you.
Oh, yeah, they're like, my groupies.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're idiots. It's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got that much. Anywho, I did a little bit of work on here, and I got. This is the best I could do. What you got me? These will. They're not gonna hurt nobody. They are quiet, but anyways, they flash real bright, stunning people as they do, and you can set them up. If you want to get a trap, and you look the other way and it goes, and then they don't know what's going on, they're all disoriented, and if you can take them out fast enough, it's quiet, but if you don't care about that, then it can be loud.
Okay. That's perfect.
Alright, and she hands you 3 flash grenades.
Dope.
Yeah, 3 small explosives with the flashbang modification.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to sleep out here, or would you rather come inside?
Well, most of the people here, they see me in that cage. I don't know how upset they're going to be that I'm not there anymore. But I also think none of them's treated me very nicely. So I don't really want to be here much longer. You said we was escaping?
Yeah. But it's a slower process than I was hoping. So I can keep you safe here. If you want to try and make it on your own, you're welcome. I can't keep you safe then. So
maybe I just go back to the cage?
really?
I don't like it much, but
Why don't
trust the bars between me and them. At least gives me a little bit of comfort. You've come back for me, of course.
Oh. Just hold on, stay here. And I'm gonna go get that cage.
I mean, it's like welded to the bottom. It's
I-
welded to the bottom.
I still have Roland's
Oh, you have his Omni tool?
thingy.
No,
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
it
you
back.
took it back? Aw. Dang.
That's how I'm not dead from jetpack.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
There's gotta be like people here are mechanics. There's gotta be like an Omni tool or like a torch welder thingy.
Sure. So you're gonna try and sneak around the camp.
A spare roll cage
You're gonna try
somewhere.
and
Give me
find some
some
tools.
options.
You wanna try and find some tools to remove that cage and then transport that cage to your housing pod.
Yeah.
Or do you wanna? It might be more practical given the things you have around you to make a different cage around outside your housing pod.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Okay. So yeah, you find enough machinery cubes to make a different cage. And you're trying to attach it to the back of your housing pod or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You're like, hold on. And you go off and you find some like materials, you come back, and then you basically kind of like rivet her in, and a couple people step back and they're like, everything all right back here, boss?
Yeah.
And they look and they see Kira, and they see you. And,
Do you have a question?
and let's go ahead and have you roll
Damn,
an
boss.
intimidate test at a +2.
Oh no. Okay. I would like to I'd like to spend 2 grit to bamboozle. This is the function of my grit now.
To bamboozle so you can keep intimidating.
This is what it's like. When every minor social interaction is a life or death situation, your grit is for bamboozle.
You are up against a 4.
Oh, okay, great. I have a 5 high and a 4.
Hey, you are the aggressor.
Damn.
As like they like kind of look at you and they're like kind of doing some mental math and you're like, you got a problem? And you like hold the tool out at them threateningly and they're like, no, boss, no. Do you need a hand? You know what? It seems you got it. And they and they leave you to it. And then you turn back and Kira's like, damn. All right. You ain't been with them before though, right? Is that easy for you? Just walk in here and take over?
Yeah?
Nah, I'll get in the cage. We're leaving soon though, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here for much longer. I mean, I get you can protect me while you're here, but you leave. There's all sorts of people in this camp who like taking things out on me, so they stopped asking me questions almost a day ago.
Yeah. Well, we'll think of something. I don't have a ride. So we gotta. My ride fell through. So we gotta just stick with it for a little longer.
All right. I mean, they got copters, so if you need a driver, I'm your gal.
Yeah. We would just need to get there and then away from them. So, right.
Okay.
Roland says plausible deniability, so
Sure.
that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have a good night in there, I guess.
Play the part.
Yeah.
And you leave her in the cage? Go to
Yes? Yeah, I mean, if she's insisting on sleeping in a cage instead of in a bed, okay.
So yeah, everyone in your housing pod is asleep packed. You still have that sealed letter that's addressed to Red Wheel. Do you?
Oh, yeah, I need to read that.
Do you not want it? Do you just want to put it on your pillowcase and sleep on it?
No. What if he's illuminated and he can psychic find it? So I gotta open it. Can I? How is it skullduggery to open?
You want to try and open it in a way that
I can shut it? Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll skullduggery at a -6.
Okay. Does pickpocketing help?
Your auto picker will help you here.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a really good roll if I wasn't at negatives. Okay. I'm going to do the thing that I said I wouldn't do ever. I'm gonna go to 0 grit.
Welcome to the club.
A meteor falls on your housing pod. You die.
Wait, did I take something I didn't deserve? Yeah. Okay, great. I have 4 hits as I go it strong.
Okay. So you get in your bunk. Your people are very much asleep. You pull out your auto picker and you change it to a different setting. And you hold up the envelope and you slide a little, 2 pieces of very thin metal into the envelope without breaking the seal. Kind of in that spot between where the wax seals it and the top of the envelope. And you manage to clip your tool onto the paper and you slowly rotate it until you've wrapped up the entire letter around your tool. Then you slide it out the side of the envelope. And you are very confident that you haven't damaged the envelope at all.
That's crazy.
And then you unroll the letter, and you fold it open. And it reads...
Good thing that I'm not Kinsey, because he can't read very well.
And it has
Was
words.
that a crack about mine?
You left without me.
Red wheel. If you are reading this, then I must be dead. If that is so, I wanted you to know what I never had the strength to tell you while I could still draw breath. You are, unequivocally, my greatest disappointment. You have none of your mother's strength, and not an ounce of my cunning, and you'll never amount to more than you did riding my coattails. If you have the misfortune to outlive me, I imagine your life will be hell without my guiding hand. So, allow me to grant you a final word of advice. If you wish to have a hope of becoming worthy of the name Koenig, then finish what I have started, or have the decency to die trying. If I was shot down, find the bastard that had the gall to end my life and tear him limb from limb publicly. Rally the loyal cloud cutters under my name and bring the fight to Rockford and any other alpha too stubborn to fall in line. Keep fighting in my name until every last one of you has fallen dead in the dirt. Only then can you hope to find me in the halls of the elders, and only then will I grant you the privilege of my name. Ferdinand Koenig.
What a ding!
My distaste for this guy has come all the way back around to begrudging respect for his willingness to just flex from the afterlife. Yikes.
And that's what the letter says.
Okay. Ugh. I'm all alone.
The party is pretty split.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna go to bed.
Okay. So, because you got...
No, I am going to copy it. I'm gonna copy the letter.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go to bed after I put the real letter away.
So you copy it. You got 4 successes on Skullduggery, so you're able to roll the letter up against your tool again and slide it in, and then unroll it back into the envelope and slide your tool out. Seems fine. Envelope doesn't seem tampered with at all. And you put the letter away, put your copy of the letter away, and grab some much-deserved shut-eye. And I believe that's where we're going to take a quick intermission before the sun rises on our three drifters. So I have 9:54 p.m. on my clock, Central. Oh, 55.
9:55.
Just switched over. So we'll be back in about 5 after a quick break. So we'll be back at 10 Central. We'll be back. See what happens next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello, welcome back. So last we left our three drifters. It was nighttime. Kinsey, you Addie, your mic made a hilarious noise when you muted. Kinsey, you calmed down this jackalope, and you managed to even dismount it and feed it a little bit more, and then it, like, well, before you dismount it, it kind of like leads you to like a little den you recognize as like a little, like, it doesn't look like a jackalope den that has been like lived in a lot, so it's possible this jackalope changes where it stays from time to time, making new dens as it goes. Perhaps, you know, drifting. And sure enough, it leads you there. It kind of stamps around a little bit, and then like kind of like chirps at you a little bit, and then you kind of get off of it and give it a little bit more food, and then it like looks at you as it lays down on its little like nest, and like continues to watch you, and then its eyes close and its ears fold back, and it's asleep. And you're able to get some sleep with the jackalope friend you made.
I won't get too far into the den. I don't want to impede his personal space, but impede their personal space.
Yeah, so you're able to kind of like sleep in another part of the den, get a little bit of shut-eye. And then you wake up to the jackalope nuzzling you. It's a little bit past sunrise. You maybe got 4 hours of sleep. But you get a little nuzzle as its like big nose is just like smelling your face, and you pull back, and it's like it's kind of like boxy muzzle is like looking at you, and its like teeth are kind of like chittering at you, and it rummages around in your pack that has the food in it.
All right, calm down. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out a little more of the food and feed it, and
It's like,
perhaps just give it a good pat. All right, friend. What do you say? You want to go for another ride? Just get some of this excess energy.
It just kind of looks at you.
I'm gonna gently come to its side as though I'm about to mount it again, and like give it like a little like tap on the horn as I use it to vault myself onto his back.
It stays stationary until you get on its back, and then it like kind of jumps up and is like still a little unused to it, and it like thumps its legs. It thumps its back leg a couple times on the ground, just like, and then it like.
All right, friend.
Then it settles down.
It's okay, darling. It's okay. All right, go. Look, just go this way, and I'll push the back of its horns forward.
It's like its head goes down, and it like stops for a second, and like kind of like goes up and puts its ears really high up, and you have to like hold on as you kind of get like leaned back a little bit as it almost stands all the way up on its hind legs. and then it like in a flash just like goes flying off, and you're holding on again for dear life as this thing goes like just tearing through the terrain. Go ahead and roll a wrangle test for me.
Not that.
Make it opposed. Alright. You are up against an 8.
That's a damn shame that I don't have any grit. I am at a 6.
Okay. So there's a point, like it's tearing through, sprinting around, jumping on and off of things, and then you lose grip and you tumble off of this thing as it like does a dramatic like leap and bounces off of a wall, and you just keep going towards the wall and slam into it. And you will take 4 damage, no armor piercing.
All right.
As you slam up against this wall and like kind of roll down onto like some stones. And then it bounces like 2 more times before it like skids to a stop and looks towards you. It's like one ear pointed towards you and another ear like kind of scanning the horizon. And then like it like sits there for a second and like doesn't quite know what to do. And as you kind of push yourself up off the ground, it hops like one big leaping bound back towards you and like skids to your side.
Oh, well done. Quite a jump you've got on you there. Come, I give it another tap. I think that's going to be my signal. Hopping on your back now, and I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, and this time it doesn't like freak out as much. It kind of like settles in a little bit as you settle in, and then it continues riding, and you notice it doesn't quite take as many dramatic leaps as it did before.
You're very quick, not just speed wise, I suppose. Pretty bright.
Yeah, it just keeps moving around and like gets a little bit of energy, and then eventually finds a stream and like starts drinking a little bit. Roland and Pax, you wake up in the morning.
What's the morning routine look like inside this housing pod?
Right now, they start like they get up and it looks like it's kind of understood camp wide, not just in Red Wheel's crew, that they're getting ready to pack up. Like maybe they were going to give a certain amount of time for any Riveteers to show up and then eventually pack up this camp. So they all seem to be kind of like, not like in a rush, but like casually, like kind of putting things together a little bit. Some people are grabbing some early morning stuff, like the Red Wheels crew kind of like doesn't sit with the rest of them, like kind of gets food, brings it back to the housing pod, eats a little bit, chats a little bit. One of them's like, Kelly is having some trouble like with her hangover. Kind of like just like feeling awful and like puts a weird mixture of a bunch of different things together and like muddles them all together and like takes a sip and goes, oh. And then Duncan's like, I can't believe you think that stuff works. I think it's all in your head. And she goes, hey, if it's in my head and it works, man. And so Pax, you notice this too. Like both of you wake up to the camp sort of slowly stirring, and some people like taking a little bit, some more gung-ho people getting a little bit ahead of the day, starting to put things away.
What is Red Wheel doing?
Her door is still closed and you don't see her around the camp. But if you wait a little bit, she does eventually like leave her room. So if your intention, Roland, is to kind of just like blend in with the crowd. And
yeah, I mean, I participate. I'm not like not doing anything, but I am very much like trying to see what's going on, seeing where my opportunities are, waiting for the perfect moment.
Pax, what do you do with your day?
Sure. So I will grab some food for me and then some food. I'll send someone with food for Kira.
Sure.
And I'm like, like if it doesn't make it to her, I'll know.
Do you need me to ask her any questions, or what? I'm just bringing her food. Just.
Do you want to make me do it?
No. Nope. Yep. It's a very simple task. I got it. Thanks, boss.
You're welcome. Yeah. And then I'll ask my my like hangers on people, be like, so who's the best driver in your estimation? Don't say me.
Like, you talking in the camp, or?
We all know Red Wheel is the best driver.
Right. So.
But say I was to choose to ride with someone. Who do you think I should ride with?
Yeah. Axel over there is pretty good if you're looking to be a fighter in his roadkin, or take him into, you be in charge. Axel Probably Axel.
Okay.
Do you want me to go get her, or do you want?
Did I ask you to go get her?
No, you didn't. You just asked me who, and I said Axel, and that is. You done with that? I can clean that plate for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, boss.
You're welcome. So I'll get everybody packing up and then on their jobs for the day and all that stuff. And then I'll suss out who Axel is.
Yeah, I mean they identified her from afar.
Sure. And I'll call her over. Be like, Axel.
Yes, boss. And she comes over. Do I need something?
Make a spot available for me in your vehicle.
Okay. Sure thing, boss. And
Thanks.
she takes a couple steps and stops for a second, turns around and goes, You got a name, boss?
I do.
Do you? I mean, you want to share, or this is awkward, but I'm really good with faces, and I mean, I know you ain't been here long, and first I paid you for just a riveteer coming in and stepping into the position that was there, but a couple of people in one of the gyro teams mentioned a lady, long dark hair like yourn, taking out one of the gyros. I mean, look, I'm happy to have you on my vehicle, especially if you can do something like that. I mean, you ride in my vehicle and you tear down something that big. I mean, that's gonna, the whole vehicle goes up, right? I mean, I'm happy to have you watching my back. I like to know who I'm riding with, if it ain't too much.
Axel. If I did that, would you think that I would share that with you?
Just ask him for your name, boss.
Is that all you're asking for, though? Because I don't think that's what you insinuated.
You don't want to tell me? That's fine. That's fine. It just makes it hard.
I don't know you. Right? We're going to get to know each other. And then, when we're friends, I'll tell you my name.
Sure thing, boss. Whatever you say, boss.
And Axel? I wouldn't go spreading it around that I was that person.
I didn't survive this long making enemies.
I think we're going to be fast friends.
I hope so. Till then, see you, boss.
Nod. Murder her. No, just kidding.
You asked who a competent person was. They told you the other competent person here. Yeah. Roland eventually, you're kind of you're not straying too far from any, like, you're kind of trying to keep an eye on everything, right? And eventually Red Wheel does exit her part of the housing pod, and she walks over to Grease, who seems to have been kind of waiting for her. And he, like, walks up to her, and you're close enough, because you've made yourself close enough, to hear her go, "Has he found out yet?" "No. Yeah, it looks like he's having another late morning. So, nothing yet. But I don't think it's too much longer before he puts it together. Realizes Golden Boy's missing. Yeah, well, when he does, he'll put it together that I'm behind it. I'll tell him I drove him off. You think that's the right idea?" "I've always found it's better with my pa to not try and be deceitful. If he's upset, he'll make it known. Whatever you say. All right. How's the new fella?" "He's good. He's smart. He's a good guy. Maybe a little ambitious. But, it seems like he's a team player. I like him. Think we picked good. He doesn't seem too torn up about Kinsey leaving, so I think we're clear on that." "Good. I don't need any more loyalists popping up and causing problems. We'll get everything packed up. We'll act like everything's just the same as normal. And, well, maybe, everything will just be fine. Maybe." He goes, "Yeah." And then he goes walking off.
Yeah, I'll wait long enough that it doesn't look like I was waiting for that conversation to just be over to start the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Do they call her Red Wheel, or do they call her like boss or like
a mix? Red Wheel, boss, is mostly what you get. I don't think you've caught any other names that they might have used.
That's fine. I just don't want to, like, if everyone calls her boss, I don't want to be like, "Hello, first name basis," right?
I will say Duncan and Kelly call her boss.
That makes sense. Yeah, if Slipstream, Livewire, and Grease all call her Red Wheel, I call her Red Wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll wait, like a minute or two, long enough that, it's not obvious I was just waiting for that conversation to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Red Wheel. Can we have a word? Oh, no.
I'm bisected.
Oh, no.
This is my dark power I've revealed, Red Wheel.
Hold on. I got a thing I gotta attend to inside here. Twice the Tommy, says the chat. Oh no!
Hey.
Did she just usurp my spot? What?
I saw that happen. Yeah. Awesome.
You know what they say, Tommy? No king rules forever.
I'm Pax now. Sneaky, stabby. I roll 15 to dodge. Oh, there she is. Okay, she's back.
So mark of a truly talented GM is to take over the campaign.
Oh, man. Yeah, right. Addie, okay, I guess Addie's in charge now.
The label says Addie's the GM.
We're good. Okay. Yeah, you asked for Red Wheel to come and have a word. She turns and goes, "Of course, Jack." And you two step off to the side.
Yeah, do you mind if we have it inside? It's nothing like, obviously the kitten's welcome. I just,
No, that's fine. You're new. There's bound to be some growing pains. I'm happy to ease you into it. Come on in. It. And she leads you into her quarters.
Cool. All right, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. And I think you're going to be angry at me, but I want you to know that this is coming from a place of wanting to be a team player and support this crew. I'm good at reading people. Very good at reading people.
Getting a bit of an echo. I don't know who it's
Yeah,
coming
I don't
from.
know from where.
I think it's me.
I'm so good at reading people, you can hear me inside your head when I speak.
You are good at reading people. No, yeah, continue.
And so there's a couple of things I noticed when Pax there gave her little speech last night. You hide it extremely well. But that hit a nerve, and I saw that. I don't think anyone else did. But I did.
So you're perceptive. What am I to make of that?
I think you have greatness in you. And I don't mean the luminescence flowing through your veins or the fact that you can make that bullwhip move like it's a goddamn motorcycle.
She smiles at that.
You have something that I have seen in very few people, and that's the ability to command a room that you're in and inspire loyalty in the people who follow you. And that will be undermined at every step because you want the approval of someone who fundamentally only sees you as a tool.
You're a brave one. I'll give you that.
I didn't get this far by never taking risks.
Well, let me make one thing clear to you. My relationship with Ferdinand is complicated, and my business and his business, your business, is to do what I say when I say it and look out for the crew, which I understand you're trying to do. You can see all the angles. You can read people. But a situation like ours, it ain't easy to read.
Oh, I'm not foolish enough to think I can read everything and see all the angles. But, and I promise this is the last I'll say of it, and I will drop it and never bring it up again unless you broach the subject first. But this is my read of Ferdinand. When he finds out that Kinsey is gone, he is going to use it in whatever way best serves him, putting you in your place in front of the people that make up just the base of this whole crew. Whether that's elevating you as the true heir in the moment or browbeating you into submission in front of all of them. What he wants is you under his thumb. And he can't have that unless you give it to him. It's not something he can take.
Go ahead and roll manipulate. We'll put it at -3.
I think I talked someone out of conflict with me earlier when, like in the meeting with Pax.
Yeah, because she turned to you and was like, what the hell, bro?
I believe I am pushing my luck despite a clear chance to fail here.
Yep.
Cool. I'm going to spend that 1 grit to bamboozle her.
Okay.
Oh, that's such a good... Thank God.
Well, that makes you up against only a 9.
I have a 10, a 9, and a 9.
You're definitely the aggressor here, so yeah. you get 3 net successes by the skin of your teeth.
What?
So nice to have somebody that can talk during one of these fucking tests for once. It would have been so helpful these past.
It helps to just roll 5 dice at it.
She sits there. You said it's 3 net successes, right?
Mm-hmm.
She puts her head down, is quiet for a decent amount of time. And then she goes, Jack, I can tell you're going to do well here. You're smart enough to know what to say, when to say it, and when to keep your trap shut. I don't expect Ferdinand's gonna be happy his son's missing. His son that he only moments after meeting graced him with his last name. A privilege he hasn't bestowed upon me in all the time we've known each other. I understand Ferdinand is probably never going to want to elevate me beyond where I'm at, and I get that. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to a man that I just met tell me that my pa ain't right about me. Some people just gotta know their place, Jack. Some people just gotta know their place to make the machine work. You understand? I know mine. And I think you know yours.
All right. Like I said, won't come up again unless you want it to.
I appreciate it. And I recognize how much strength it must have taken for you to risk talking to me like that. So, we can part friends right now. You go ahead. You pack up your things. Camp's going to move on. And when Ferdinand finds out Kinsey's missing, and I tell him that I'm the reason why, you follow Grease's lead. You stand by his side. You understand me?
Got your back.
It's not what I said.
All right. All the same, I'll follow. I'll do what you say when you say it.
She nods at that. And during that exchange, while she was telling you, like, you know, because you got 3 net successes, while she was telling you everyone has a place, you need to know your place, I know my place, this is all, like, you can tell that's regurgitated from Ferdinand. Like, that's just, she is sticking to a script, but, like, what you said is going to stick with her. You get that, you glance just over your shoulder slightly, and you see her just kind of staring at the ground, and you get that, like, what you've said has, like, kind of, like, you know, it's just gonna rattle around in her head.
Yeah, as I'm leaving, I'll like toss out some like mechanic-y thing about the bullwhip of like, you know, actuator on the front left hover pad's looking a little tight. I was gonna take a look at it with live wire.
Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, and then you step out and you start packing up.
Red Wheel will remember that.
Red Wheel will remember that. All right. I suppose, Kinsey, what are you up to?
My steed is currently drinking from this. I'm thinking, can't be friends if you don't have a name. What thinking out loud, of course, because it's Kinsey.
Yeah, like, his ears like twitch as you talk.
What do I call you? could go the obvious route, shadow or ghost or Dolin, which is a bit of a mouthful. And then I see in the stream the reflection of the two moons, and they're like perfect crescents just facing each other. All right. What about Umbria?
His ears perk up and he looks at you.
Sorry, Umbra. Like that. Right? Umbra.
He goes back to drinking water.
But I like it anyway. I think I'll go ahead and call you.
And he finishes drinking and kind of circles around and like sits down and looks around. His ears just kind of like constantly listening to things you can't even perceive as he as he's just kind of like scanning the area with his ears.
Right, I think. All right, tell you what. The situation that I'm about to bring you into, I have a feeling I'm going to be doing some shooting. Why don't you come along with me? We're going to go on a hunt, okay? I'll find you some food, find you something nice, we'll get you used to the sound of gunfire. What do you think?
He like looks at you and like stands up, like walks over, and then like kneels down to let you and like puts his horn towards you.
I'll take that as a yes. I'll hop up on a...
Sure. You're a skilled enough hunter to be able to find some stuff to shoot at. I don't think I'm gonna make you roll for it. Let's do a wrangle. Let's do a wrangle. See if you can you can kind of control. It's more about you. It's Umbra, right? Is what you're calling him?
Umbra, yeah.
We'll see if you can control Umbra enough to get like clean shots. Otherwise, like a good enough wrangle gets you everything you need.
Got a high of...
A high of 9, you said?
Yeah.
Well, I did get 3 successes, but none of them are higher than a 9.
All right.
So, yeah. Oh, no. So, yeah, you, there's a little bit of time where, like Umbra, like, kind of starts getting, like, you start riding and you start to get used to, like, how to move him around and how to, like, command him and get him to turn where you want. And then there's, like, a point where you see, like, a small little thing, and Umbra seems like he wants to eat it, and you have to, like, kind of, like, work him to not ride directly at a thing.
Oh, come on, fellow. All right.
And, like, he like, knocks off your first shot, and then, like, hops around a little bit. And then you manage to, like, get him down and, like, let him, like, you see the gun and everything, and then you...
It's me. I'm making the noise, okay?
You kick him back towards that thing, and then he sees it again, and this time he listens to your command to kind of, like, ride alongside it instead of ride directly at it. And then you take another shot, and again he kind of, like, hops, but you do hit. And he, like, hops, like, once or twice, and, like, stops and, like, stamps his foot a little bit and is looking around. And then you kind of coax him over to the thing that he wanted to eat anyways, and you feed him. And then, like, you go on another little, like, hunt for, like, another, like, lizard. And then that time when you shoot, he's ready for it. Like, he flinches a little bit, but, like, is, like, understanding that, like, that means food.
Oh, God. He's gonna eat the people you kill.
And so he like doesn't freak out at it, and then like you lead him back over and he eats that little lizard too, and then you do it one more time for good measure with like a bird, and then he eats that, and like and then he's got a nice full stomach for breakfast, and he seems much calmer with the sound of gunshots on his back.
All right, clever fellow, well done, well, well, what do you say? Shall we ride in like the heroes we are?
He like thumps his foot once.
I think we're going to be fast friends, Umbra. Come along. No, I'm going to start riding back to the canyon where they're hiding.
Sure. So you like pull back, and do a dramatic like Umbra like goes back on his hind legs and then spins around and kicks off his hind legs and flies forward against the sunrise cresting over the hills. And then you ride towards the Axton Arches where this camp is sitting. Meanwhile, in camp, Roland and Pax, you're kind of minding your own business. Pax, do you do anything else after you've talked to Axel?
So there's not an occasion to see Roland, is there? Like
Roland kind
hasn't...
of said he was being available for every opportunity. So, like, yes, there is an opportunity that Roland presents you to talk to him.
Great. He's like cleaning his dishes or something.
Yeah, he's got the skill set to be able to be where he needs to be when an opportunity arises.
Sure. I'll just like reverse pickpocket the copy of the letter into Roland's pocket.
Sure.
And then just be like, I have the original. I don't know what to do with it.
All right. I'll take a look.
Okay.
And
you okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right.
We're good friends. Some of them are nice.
Cool. I broke Kira out.
Okay.
So
I
just moved her cage to my area, but she's basically free, but not because there's no way to run away. So
right. So it's more of a metaphorical cage now.
Yeah.
All right.
I also don't really know what to do with that. So
cool. How are you?
it's fine. I'm pretty sore. I spent like an hour clinging to the underside of a table.
Huh. That's really goddamn impressive, Pax.
Well, there wasn't really a good hiding spot except for that one. So I had to wait until he went to sleep and then I could get down.
Thanks. Be ready for the shit to hit the fan. Red Wheel's plan is to tell Ferdinand she drove Kinsey off when he finds out. So, you know, things might get a little heated.
Sure. Okay.
He's probably fine, right?
Kinsey?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, there's no one you have to talk to. It's just outside stuff. He's really good at that.
Yeah, no, he probably just like went back to his mom and is like.
That's a good point. It's not that far away.
Yeah.
He could have just gone there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, he'll probably show up with like, you know, Tusk and a new war wagon or something. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fine. We just have to wait until something happens, and then we can take advantage of it.
Oh, as far as Red Wheel's crew knows, we do not know each other well. I've only talked to you.
Okay. I just won't comment.
Okay.
Okay. Also, is that Grease guy like with anyone?
Do you want me to make an introduction?
I don't know. It's kind of cute. I mean, we already met. I took his knife from him when he tried to kill me, but like that was like yesterday.
I mean, that's basically outlaw married, right?
No.
All right, you both can have a grip for excellent role playing. Kinsey, you can have a Grit for excellent roleplay with your jackalope.
Yeah, no. He's probably got a thing for you.
Okay. Cool.
I love that Roland can always just tell people when someone's into them. So, Roland, you do manage to get away from Pax and sneak a peek at that letter. It reads the same as what I read before.
I have to, I go through the gamut of, oh my god, this guy. Yikes. I mean, wow. I mean, he's really committed. It's despicable, but you gotta respect the play. What would you even hope to accomplish with this? Yeah.
And and then Pax, you're continuing to kind of just marshal the troops and stick to the flow of the camp.
Yeah.
Cool.
And when because we're not cleaning up today, to leave tonight. We're leaving tomorrow.
It seems like the plan is to be ready to leave before the sun sets.
Okay.
People are packing up camp.
All right. Yeah, I'll have people pack up stuff for me. And then just keep an eye on Kier. Make sure nobody's gonna kill her before we leave or anything.
Sure. Well, not too much more time passes before Ferdinand exits his housing pod and goes around for a little bit and talks to a couple people. And then he goes, "Everyone stop! Who here has seen Kinsey? My son? Handsome fellow? Scruffy beard? Mustache to rival his father's? No? No one has seen him. All day. I told you he was someone you needed to concern yourself with at the same level as myself, and yet everyone's just proceeding with their day as normal, as if his absence is not something to be noted, to be brought to my attention. And then, Roland, you see Red Wheel's crew kind of start to gather around where Grease is.
I had there.
And
I'm Red Wheel's crew.
And the housing pod to Red Wheel's quarters opens up. And she steps out. And she goes, "I think I saw him last, Ferdinand." And he tilts his head slightly, grits his teeth, and goes, "Did you now? Well." And his arms are outstretched as he walks towards her and goes, "Where is he? Taking a late night nap in your pod, maybe?" And she goes, "No, Kinsey wasn't cut out for the cloud cutters. He and I had a conversation last night, and well, he decided it was better if he left. I helped him see the error of his ways. He's not cut out for this life, Father. He's just a kid playing at being a nomad." And he steps up closer to her and goes, "And you helped him come to this revelation. You soul searched with him, and eventually he came to this decision of his own accord. She goes, he ain't cut out to be with us. He knew it. He barely resisted. I made sure he didn't besmirch your name and the Cloud Cutters. And he goes, I see. And then like a whip, his hand swings out and hits her across the face with the back of his hand. And she like, moves with it a little bit and like catches herself. And he leans in and goes, as always, you find new, fascinating ways to disappoint me. Kinsey is my blood, your brother. She goes, half brother. And he raises his hand again, and she flinches. And he stops and puts a hand on her shoulder and squeezes tightly and goes, yes, indeed. Now, you have until the camp is completely packed to go and find my son and return him to my side. And if you can't find him, if you can't convince him that you're the fool that you are, well, I suppose the camp can move on without you. And she grits her teeth and looks down at the ground and goes, I understand. Of course. We can't have him out there roaming about without his pack. He's a Koenig. He deserves to be here. He does. And she winces a little bit at that and goes, of course, Father. I'll get my rogue kin together and we'll find him. Doesn't matter how far he's gone. We'll find him. Kinsey! You get to the Axton Arches. Roll a wrangling test for me.
Alright.
You have a +4.
+4?
Yeah, because of your Umbra's handling bonuses.
Alright. Ooh, that's a high of 14.
How
with
many?
3 hits.
Okay. So you come to the Axton Arches. You kind of pace back and forth, and then you kick at Umbra's hindquarters, and he leaps up and perches for a half a second on like one of the arches, then leaps up to another one, and leaps up to another one, and with the grace of a jackalope is able to scale this cliff edge through a handful of leaps, and then you bound over the side of the cliff and into the middle of the camp. Everyone scatters as you blot out the sun for a moment, flying in on the back of this strangely colored, very distinctive jackalope. And you land down in the middle of the camp, and everyone kind of dives to the side. Rolling in packs, you see Kinsey just fly up over the cliff edge on the back of a jackalope and land down, and the jackalope kind of like turns to its side and like thumps its legs a couple times as it's like its ears are moving and like following the motion of the crowd. It's looking around, and you also notice that Kinsey has not saddled this thing. He's just riding this thing bareback.
But of course. And as Umbra lands in the midst of the crowd, Kinsey screams, "Koenig!"
Roland, Grease, who everyone is watching to follow the lead, you can tell without rolling a test, Grease has no idea what to do. He seemed like during the abuse of Red Wheel, he was like resolute and like nope, whatever she says, we're gonna go with, we're here. He's like kind of like holding it together. And then this happens and it's just like his whole world is just upside down. He doesn't know what to do.
I will lean over to him and I will whisper, if this crew is ever going to make its move, this seems like the time, man.
And he goes, "It ain't me you have to convince."
Yeah, no, I know. You had that whole thing about how Roadkin shares things with each other like 30 hours ago.
He like looks at you like, "I don't know what you want from me."
I don't know myself.
Pax, what do you what is your reaction to Kinsey?
It takes every fiber of my being not to laugh out loud. And then I will move to the front of the group. And just do this thing.
Right. You brothers hold on the guns.
Yeah.
Like it's a little like separated, but like you like get in front of some of them and they all start like moving around behind you, and sure enough, like the entire camp is starting to form behind Pax. So you got Roland in with the Red Wheels crew and like Pax like holding the rest of the camp. Kinsey, Red Wheel, and Koenig all in the middle of this camp, kind of as everyone kind of pulls back. And Kinsey.
Kinsey dismounts from the jack and he says, "Koenig,
my son!
Here I am."
What an interesting creature you've brought to camp.
Yes, he's quite the beast, isn't he? Umbra, I call him, quite the jack.
Indeed. This is your pet, then?
This is my mount, Koenig. We have unfinished business, you and I. And Kinsey's going to take off the maroon jacket that he borrowed from Koenig and toss it down, revealing his armor underneath.
He looks down, he goes, "Kinsey," in like a more hushed tone. "Kinsey, I don't understand. Is something wrong? I thought we were getting to know each other. This is... Well, honestly, you have me a bit speechless. The spectacle, what is this?"
Speechless, are you? Well, I'd imagine that's the first time in a long time you've ever been rendered speechless. No. Listen to me, Koenig. Look. You made me leader the same day we met, but a day earlier, I would have been murdered by your pack at the hands of your very pack. Now you say that my mother drove you off. Now I know that you tried to murder her, Koenig, in cold blood. Now listen to me. I think you know that Red Wheel is a more inspiring leader than you are. That's why you berate and manipulate her. You know she's good. You know she's better than you. I'll prove it. And he turns to the rest. I have acknowledged defeat to my half-sister once. I'll do it again. Now in front of the entire pack. She has bested me. And to you, Koenig, and he points very dramatically, to you, I issue a challenge. Zimbalist!
Everyone is dead quiet. Red Wheel looks between the two of you, eyes kind of wide. And Koenig, whose face is like kind of slowly morphed from a friendly fatherly figure to like a rage-filled man, stares at you for a second and then goes, "You challenge me to Zimbalist with what? This horse, antelope horse, this jackalope, this prom vehicle. This is. Oh, Kinsey, I thought you understood our ways, and
I understand them better than you.
Well, then you certainly know you can't challenge a man to Zimbalist without a vehicle of your own and a mount. I mean, that's... It walks on two legs. It's a prom, just the same as perhaps you.
Well, then it shouldn't be easy for you to defeat me. And I'll tell you what, I'll even sweeten the pot. If you defeat me, a vehicle of your choice, I will tell you where my mother is hiding. You can find her and you can kill her with your own hands. But if I win, I get to choose who leads the pack. If I win, I choose the new leader of your segment of the Cloud Cutters.
Tusk is alive.
She is. And only I know where she is.
He likes Go ahead.
I have a question, actually. Can I is it possible to move through the crowd without being particularly noticed?
I think there's enough of a spectacle that what I would make you roll is blend and you would succeed. So I wouldn't be able to give you negative modifiers, and you're very good at blend. So.
Sure, okay. Cool. I would like to make my way over to Pax and tell her I need the original.
Yeah, I'll pull it out of my pocket.
Cool. I take it and I make my way back over to Red Wheel's Roadkin. And I will hand the letter to Grease.
He looks at it, looks at you.
Listen, I don't know why. Pax gave me this.
He's going to look at it, look at you again. Roland, go ahead and roll manipulate at a +4. Kinsey, you can roll either intimidate or manipulate. And I will give you also a +4 because you told them that Tusk was alive.
I'm here too.
You got the letter.
Oh, I'm not feeling left out. I just thought it was funny to say. I have a whole army. I don't feel left out.
Roland, you're up against a 9.
Okay. My high is a 16, and I currently have 3 net hits.
Okay. Kinsey, you're up against a 5.
With your +4, I would have rolled for a target that was the highest I possibly could have. I would have been rolling for a 7. And my dice came up 20 and 20.
Oh, no!
Oh, no, Kinsey, why?
What?
Dice jail. Dice jail.
You only rolled 2 dice to intimidate?
Yes.
He has no muscles.
How much grit do you have? Because making it just a misfire might be worth it. Oh, no, that's not enough. Oh, no.
Did you proc any of your triggers?
I mean, yes, and that's why I have 2 grit. I have
Oh.
certainly not hesitated to commit to a course of action that is. I've certainly utilized the trap successfully, so I do have an extra grit, and that has given me 2.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the only 2 that I have. Is it too late to shoot the moon?
Yes, you have to do it. So while you can't make it not a grave misfire,
You could roll 2 more dice to see if you get a success.
You could still maybe succeed at the test, and we have the rare instance of succeeding at a test and having a grave misfire, because you can't use make your own luck to undo misfires. But you can still do it to succeed at the test.
Yes, you could succeed, and then Umbra kicks you off the cliff.
Could be worth it. All right.
You only have to be a 5.
I know.
And you can spend the grit individually. So
Yeah.
That is fair. All right. Right. Grit number 1.
What was that?
A 2. But the second one was a 7.
There you go. You got
last I checked, 7 beat 5.
My goodness.
That was the most Kinsey thing that has ever happened. To show up triumphant on an animal, hold everyone's attention, and then just beef it when you talk.
Whiff it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Koenig looks at you wide-eyed, kind of like shocked, and goes, "Wow, she really put her hooks in you, son, didn't she?
Oh, God.
Tusk, Pike Jaw. She convinced you I was some kind of villain. Well, it pains me that we find ourselves at odds, son. And if Zimbalus is the way that you can grow, well, then perhaps the defeat you face will humble you to your role in this pack. You say I get to choose my own vehicle. Well, against such a beast as this. And he walks over towards Umbra. And Umbra kind of pulls back a little bit, but for whatever reason, Kinsey, you don't give Umbra any signals. So Umbra you're fixated on your father. So Umbra kind of sits there, looks to you for a sign, is unsure, and sits there. He goes, against this beast, a fine beast, a prom, perhaps, but majestic in his own way. And he reaches into his pack and pulls out some rations, and Umbra eats it up. And he pats Umbra on the nose and turns back to you and he goes, well, if you need to understand the way of the nomads by facing a vehicle with such a thing, well, I get to choose the vehicle, so of course I choose the bullwhip. And your sister as my proxy. Roland, you said you were moving over towards Red Wheel during this, right?
Yeah, I wanted to get back to her crew, and I specifically wanted to get
yeah.
the letter to Greece.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to come from me directly.
And you got 3 net successes over Greece, right?
Yeah.
So like Greece is like during all this, Greece is like, sure, and like goes over and like it's like, hey, and like Red Wheel's like, what? And then Greece hands her a letter, and she opens it up, and she folds it out, and Roland, you watch her face as she just stares at this thing, and to anyone else, she would just be a statue. But you see her like pupils like narrow in, and then you see like a little bit of red move up her neck into her ears and like onto her cheeks, and her breathing gets a little heavier. And then Ferdinand goes, I choose the bullwhip and your sister as my proxy. And she's like breathing heavily, staring at the letter. And then he turns to her with like a smile on his face, and then sees her holding the like envelope and the paper like through like tight fists. And his smile like freezes. And he stares at her. And then it slowly fades and he goes, Red Wheel? Red Wheel? And she looks up. And she goes, my apologies, Father. The actuator on one of the repulsors on the bullwhip is malfunctioning, and my roadkin has not had the time to right that malfunction, so the bullwhip is unfortunately unavailable. But surely your vehicle will suffice to defeat that large, hairy prom of a beast. Wouldn't you say, Father? As she like crumbles up the paper, and then he looks towards the group of like the whole rest of the Cloud Cutter pack, like behind Pax. Well, perhaps we could delay the
Symbolic.
And they're all like, Zambales! Zambales! Show Ferdinand! Kick him in the dust! Teach him what a nomad is! Zambales! Zambales!
Zambales!
And Ferdinand sits there, just completely like Red Wheel's not rising up, and they're all shouting, and he goes, all right. Son, of course. If this is what catharsis you need to get over the lies your mother has told you, of course. I will accept your challenge.
And you accept my And you accept my challenge?
Of course. I can't wait to see your mother again. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Zambales.
I think that moment, like the very briefest of moment, I'm sure, where Koenig is like, oh no, everything around me has failed to keep me away from this situation, is like Roland can't help but just smile the slightest bit of like, you idiot, you asked me to do this to you.
That's great. You all can have a grit because that worked out so perfectly. All right, so I think we have technically one question in the Discord, but if any of you in the chat have a question you want to shoot out, now would be the time. We are going to answer this question, which is for Addie and I. And so it says, who is the best member of the Manifest team, and why is it Dag? I can't like grab the camera and make him shown because he is sleeping away from us. But Dag is our dog. That question came from a friend of ours. He is adorable. He's a good boy. He's a very good boy. But he's just a big black mess over here. But yeah, no, Dag's great. And I definitely realized when I was coming up with the coloration of
I noticed.
Yeah, when I came up with the coloration of Umbra, I was like, yeah, for some reason that coloration speaks to me. And then I got home from work and looked at Dag and was like, oh. Because Kinsey's new jackalope is basically Dag as a jackalope.
That's why his instinct is so high, because Dag is a con artist.
Yes. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is wearing a scarf. What a good
Wait, do you have a picture of the jackalope too?
Yeah. Like the like pattern of the jackalope.
I believe on more than one occasion, Dag has conned his way into like double breakfast or double dinner.
Tricked us into double breakfast.
Yeah, he's evil. Yeah.
Anyways, our dog is great and we love him. And that rabbit looks a lot like like our dog.
That's not quite what the jackalope looks like because the jackalope is,
big and
not
a
rabbit. It's a jackalope.
Yeah.
But that's like its fur pattern.
Yeah. Anyways, we love our dog, and yeah, Dag is obviously the best part about Manifest because he's there. We had a lot of our friends ask us why didn't we make a creature that was Dag so we could get like art made of Dag, and our answer was always, if we made a creature on Manifest that was Dag, that would mean at some tables some people would fight Dag, and we didn't want that to happen. So we kept them off out of the game. All right, so that is the only question we got through Twitch. A little joke question from a friend of ours. It doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat as of yet, but really quick, does anyone else have any advancement triggers that we forgot to mention?
So I already talk someone out of conflict with you and push your luck. I'm pretty sure I just helped someone solve a problem using my wits.
Yes.
Did we ever work on that actuator?
Wait, is it a piece of gear is modified or repaired?
Oh yeah, you made the cage.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it. Cool, so that's all mine.
Okay. Kinsey got at least 2 of his.
Yeah, I did not hesitate to commit to a dangerous course of action. A trap was utilized successfully. A predator was evaded. Sorry, I don't need to talk in my Kinsey voice anymore. Predator was evaded. But I'm trying to remember what that predator was.
I mean, you just pretty powerfully socially evaded Koenig.
That's fair. And also Red Wheel from shooting me.
Oh, that happened.
Red Wheel said she was going to shoot me if I came. No, she said she was going to shoot me if I came back. And she didn't shoot me. Because a letter was given to her turning her against Koenig.
She told you if you were coming back to camp, you better be coming back to camp to kill Koenig because she wasn't going to let you kill her.
But I did evade her.
Oh yeah, Pax did evade her. Yes.
I'm just doing all the work on your triggers, guys. Get with it.
Thanks. And then patience was rewarded because I definitely fucking got a
you spent all night tracking this jackalope, doing some hunting catharsis or whatever, hunting therapy.
Trap therapy.
Trap
Yes.
therapy. All right, Pax, what did you get?
All right. Everyone was threatened with violence.
Yep.
Mm.
An open fight is avoided through underhanded means.
I mean, yeah. Enough lying and deceit and manipulation happened during this that yes, that applies.
It reached
Okay.
a critical mass.
I've taken something I want but don't deserve.
Yeah, the letter.
And I put myself in harm's way for no reason than to protect others.
Yeah, protecting Kira. Yeah.
I protected Kira.
That's a clean sweep. That's 12 XP.
12
baby.
XP. You guys hit a ball.
What?
All right. Cool. So that wraps up tonight's episode of the Manifest Actual Play. We will be on again next week, April 28th. And during that week, we will have a giveaway of some sweet, sweet Manifest creature art from Crystal Soli. So everyone should tune in. Tuesday, April 28th, 8 p.m. Central. Until then, we love you guys. Thank you for watching. Follow and subscribe, and wash your hands. Goodbye.
Bye.